Hello and welcome to another Python lesson. In this section we are going to talk about file handling in Python, and we will understand how to open, read and write file using with the keywords. So, introduction to file handling, and file handling is a fundamental skill in Python that enables you to work with persistent data storage, whether you are building a game that saves high score, processing a log files, or managing configuration setting. Mastering file operation is essential. Python provides initiative built-in tools to interact with your file system without requiring external libraries. We can use Python to open a file, to read the content of a file, and you can write file, meaning that you can modify or manipulate file. It is very easy. Opening and reading file. How to open and read file with a Python. This is very easy, and you can open file. You can use open function. In this case, you open this file, in this case file name, and then its extension. After you open that file, you can read the file. So how can you read the file? You use read function. Once you use this function, this retrieve all the content of that file. So after you are done with your files, you open, you read and you write, then you can close with this function. We use close function because after you work with file, it uses some resources of your computer, like it uses memories and CPU. So once you are done with file system, you can close that file. In this case, you will release the resources from your computer. Now I want to give you a demo so you can understand how to open and read file in a Python. Now I have in this location, and let me show you how to move these locations. Right now I'm using Windows. In Windows it is very easy. You go to that location by easily navigating to that folder. I use I open this folder, and as you can see I have two folders, first batch and second batch. If I open this, you can see I only have two files, one Python file and one TXT file, and of course I have some slides, and my codes are in this folder. And as you can see, I have a three folder. For example, one file folder. In this file folder you can see my data, and this my data is TXT extension, and I have new file which is Python file. And also I have my first batch. This is all the Python file, and that we already worked on that in our previous section of the course. And this is another folder which contains some Python file. For example, we use this file to explain what classes in Python and how to create your own class in Python. So now I want to remove this, and I will create another folder. I can simply dossier, for example, my file. This is one way, and we can do it with a command line. Okay, command line is more convenient, and since we are working with a Linux system, and for example, if you're working in a company and of course you use Linux, you are not using Windows, so in this case you have to understand how to work with a Linux. Right now I am in this location. If I want to understand the content of this folder, you can see I have this Maw'ud first batch and Maw'ud second batch. As you can see, Maw'ud first batch and Maw'ud second batch. I'm in this location. Now what I'm trying to do, I want to create a new folder. So how can I do that? I say mkdir, for example, my file. Now you can see this folder has been added. Now I want to navigate into this folder. How can I do that? I say cd. Cd means change directory. My file. Right now I'm inside this file. Okay, so you can right click, for example, my file .txt. This is the first file. For example, this file has some content. Hello world, Python is amazing. So this is the content of this file. Now I want to create another Python file. For example, my file.py. Okay. Now if I can click on this file, I can simply see the content of this file. In this case, this is hello world, Python is amazing. Now the question is, how can I use Python code or Python classes to open and display this line of, for example, these sentences? How can I use that with, how can I do that with Python? This is very simple. There are some functions. First of all, as I said, you open file. How do you open file? You use this function, open file and then file name. Okay, I am using open. This is the function, and now the file name. What is the file name? In this case, my file under txt underscore my file dot txt. Okay. Once I use this function, I have to store, once I open that file, I have to store that inside a variable. In this case, for example, file. Okay, this is the first step. And what is the second step? Once you open the file, and now you have to read its content. How can I do that? I use read function. Now I can read the content of this file, my file.txt, and I store inside this variable, for example, content. Right now, if I want to display this sentence, how can I do that? I want to say print content. So let me run my code. Okay, such file or directory. Okay, this not safe. Now I want to run my code again. no such file and directory. My file.txt. Alright. Okay, this is the problem. Now I have to navigate inside this folder because right now, as you can see, I am in this location code and my file is inside this folder, so I have to navigate to that folder. Cd my file. Now it should be working fine. You can see hello world, Python is amazing. Very nice. This is one way to open a file and read its content. This is one way. And we have another way. We have another way to do or accomplish the same task. How can we do that? We use with keyword. Okay, we use with keyword and to accomplish the same task. So in this case, I'm using this. I want to open the content of this file with keyword. I say with, then I use the open function, name of the file, in this case my file.txt. As now, once I open this file, it should be stored as inside this variable. After that, once I open this file and store this inside this variable, now I want to read its content. Read. Once I read or retrieve information from this file, I have to store inside this variable, for example, content. Now I want to print content. I should be able to see the same message. Okay, for example, now I want to make another line of code, another sentence. This is the second line. Now if I want to read the content of the file again, now you can see this is the second line, and hello world, Python is amazing. It is very simple and easy. Okay. Now we understood how to open and read a file. It's time to write to the existing file. So how can we write a file? For example, here, as you can see, I have written this sentence. Now how can we add such kind of sentence using Python code? This is very easy. I use with keyword and I open the file. Again, once I open the file, you can see there are some parameters. The first parameter is file. So in this case, we use the name of that file, my file.txt. Now this is the first parameter. And the second parameter is very important. For example, we have another parameter like mode. Mode means that which kind of operation do you want to perform on this file? Do you want to read a file or do you want to write? If you don't specify this parameter, by default Python consider your code as a read. Okay, if you specify it the mode, so it will performs action based on your code. So let me explain what I mean by that. here. Now what I'm trying to do, I want to write a file. Okay, in this case I write the value. After that I open this and I save inside, for example, a variable file. Now what I'm trying to do, I want to say, okay, file dot write. What do you want to write? I want to write, for example, hello students, Python is amazing. Okay, after I run my code, now this sentence should be added to this existing file. You can see hello students, Python is amazing. You might notice that it replaces the previous text. 2 line of text, we had 2 line of text, it replaced that. Okay, if you use write mode. Now you tell yourself, okay, I don't want to replace the text, existing text. What I'm trying to do, I want to add new line of, for example, sentences to the existing file. I don't want to remove the previous one. So how can I do that? You use the same code, but in the mode parameter, you use a. A means append. Append. Now, if you want to run your code, this sentence should be added to the existing one. Hello students, this is the second line. Now if I want to run my code, this sentence should be added to the existing. You can see hello students, Python is amazing. It was from the previous sentence. Now hello students, this is the second line. So now as you can see, my sentence has been added at the same line. So I want to say, okay, it should be added like this to the next line. How can I do that? So you use / and n. It means that, okay, the following sentence should be added to the following line, to the next line. Hello students, this is the third line. So now let's see the result. My file, what happened? Now if I want to run my code, okay, I don't know why it didn't add. Let me verify what's wrong with this code. Mode A. It should be the last line. Now I want to run my code. Why is not? should be the last line. This is the second line. Right. Yeah, it's showing in this file, but I don't know why it's not showing here. Let me save it again. As you can see, we can hello students, the Python is amazing. Okay, now if I want to run my code again, this should be added. Yes, you can see it should be the last line. Now if I want to add another line, it's over. You can see we can add a new line using this /n. So this is how you can read a file, write a file, and how you can manipulate file using Python. Okay, and this is the summary of what we have studied in this lesson. We used open function. This is the function that open the file. Okay, it is files object that lets you read from, write from on your system. Then we have read function. You can use this to retrieve the content of your file. And we also worked with close. You have to close your file and so on. Thank you very much and have a good night.